just heard was the voice of a whole minister called Pravin Gordan. This guy is a demigod, and we're going to talk about him today, and I want us to talk about a lot of things actually today. As today's Friday, and I'm doing all the headlines that I've seen during the whole week, and I just wanted to start with that one now, Pravin, to show you how some people believe how actually they are above the law. And I want to talk about this guy. Who is this guy? Who is this Pravin Gordan? And why do we have him as a super minister, and why do I call him a super minister? And what has he done today that made headlines today? And I will tell you later on, and we'll talk about other things. Thabo Mbeki is one of those people we're going to be talking about. What he said to you about Cyril's government 100 days in office. Hey, Pfizer vaccine lowers your sperm count, guys. Apparently, we're going to go into that as well. If you have Pfizer already in your body as a man, know that your sperm count might be low. Sorry about that, but hey, that's how it is. They never told you when you went to vaccinate, but that's how it is at this moment. And ANC structures has gone out to pass a memorandum so that Ramaphosa must be expelled. They don't want Ramaphosa anymore, and they want him to be expelled, and they went and they marched to the house, and they gave the memorandum, and they gave ANC chance and time to do that. And I will actually go into all those headlines as you go. And Mrs. Jessie Juwate is late. She passed away as well. May her soul rest in peace. She's already been buried at the West Park Cemetery, and may her soul rest in peace. And lastly, one thing that actually we've been waiting to hear is Ramaphosa finally, they say finally, let me just get that applause. What is that applause button? Finally, Ramaphosa has answered the 31 questions given to him by our public protector. The only one that we know, that is Busium Kobat. We don't know about this other new one. I don't know, it's just an acting. We know we have one that is called Busium Kobat. This guy finally answered questions the public protector today. So those answers haven't been put in the public domain yet, and then we'll see. Maybe later on they'll be telling us, they'll be giving us those answers. What are those answers? Now, let's start. First and foremost, Pravin Gordan. Who's this guy? Like someone was asking me, who's this guy? He's a minister. Public what's this thing? Public enterprises minister in South Africa, and I call him a super minister because he behaves like a superman. He behaves like a super minister in a sense of he is one of those ministers that can get away with everything and cannot be charged or cannot be asked why is what wrong and all those things. He's one of the minister that has been in this portfolio for years, and ESCOM is giving us low sheet now and then, and state entities are being sold, and no one is saying anything about it. But Dlamini went into, didn't even have something that was tangible enough to be proven, but she was called not a delinquent, no. Dudu Myeni was called a delinquent director when she was in SAA, and Pravin Gordan, I don't know at that time, was he the minister then still, or was still in finance, but I'm just comparing Hori. Dudu Myeni was being called a delinquent minister, whereas this one is staying in office and he is not done anything to. He's like this super guy who doesn't have to answer to anyone or to anything. And you know what, nothing is being done, Pravin Gordan. So we're going to go into his little biography and to give you the headlines of what he has done this week. What he has done this week, which actually the chairperson of SCOPA, the former chairperson of SCOPA, Themba Godi, had to step in and say something about it, because he did something that it was going to surprise you as well, and you're going to be shocked to see Hori. Since Ramaphosa come into power, guys, BEE is being used by them, it's done, but things that actually will benefit a black child, like excuse me, like your affirmative action and all the likes, employment equity and all those things. That's actually supposed to favor black people to put them in work. They're actually been taken out because this guy is now changing and giving solidarity. A white so-called union asking them to give them skills to ESCOM. We're going to discuss that in a minute. And before we can go further, this is Word on the Street, as you can see on my t-shirt. Those who are watching on my Facebook live page now, and those who will watch on my YouTube channel, Word on the Street with Kostile Sohomwane. This is what we call tele. Where we talk about everything and anything, and we discuss and we give it to you that way. Now you should sit there and say this. Now I'm going to apply my mind and I'm going to say this. But we need to discuss these things because this is actually what this thing, it affects us every single day, and it's up to us to stand up and say we are not going to let this, not in our name, in South Africa. Well, Minister Pravin Gordan, let's start with his little biography first, and then we'll continue like that. Okay, I'm on his Wikipedia page now. It says Pravin Jamnandas, remember? The EFF was busy saying Jamnandas Gordan. They were talking about his name. Well, Pravin Jamnandas Gordan was born on April 12. 1949. He's a politician, an anti-apartheid activist who has been has held various ministerial posts in the cabinet of South Africa. Yeah, that is a given. And I haven't seen what he's done ever since he became minister with Jacob Zuma. I've never seen what he has done, but he has been untouchable since then. This guy can't be done. I mean, did you hear on the clip? He's busy arguing with doctorate students, asking kids, what would you do? That is the man who's arrogant, the guy who doesn't care, who knows that the law will never touch. He's untouchable. He knows that the president of this country is in his pocket. He knows there's nothing that can be done to him. He can do whatever that he wants, which he's doing now, selling off SAH for 51 grand, by the way, to a white company with some few black tokens there. Now trying to dismantle PRASA, now trying to dismantle ESCOM. Stage 6 of load shedding is on our hands. But this guy is still a minister, and no media house, ENCA, 405, Newsroom Africa, SABC, no other station is saying anything about this. People have done less. People have done less. And they were being called delinquent directors. They were taken out of cabinet. They were forced to resign. The DA will be out in the streets. If this was Claudio Mutweni didn't have matric, but the guy knew his job. But he was chased out thanks to Musimaimane and the others who were out there doing outside to take this guy out just because he did a good job for the black child. But this guy is still in parliament today and has the balls to stand for doctorate students and ask them, what will you do? What are you done? He's daring our future generation. This guy was born 1946. He's like 70 something years now, if I'm not mistaken, 80 something years. But he has those balls to stand and say to you, what will you do? It's the same thing that he can ask your president. What will you do? What are you? If somebody asks you that, that means that person you are nothing to them. He's a super minister, by the way. Don't forget that part. He's a super minister. He is untouchable. Everybody who questions him end up outside. There are other DJs who actually took him on and asked her, why is this guy not being fired? And they themselves were fired. Linda, maybe they'll fire me from my own podcast. Who knows? Maybe they will fire me from my own podcast because I'm asking these questions. But I don't care. This is mine. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I get support Mamotan Cancer. I'm speaking my mind because I'm a South African and a black man. Sorry. He served as Minister of Finance from 2009 till 2014 and again from 2015 till 2017. As Minister of Corporate Governance from 2014 until 2015, as Minister of Public Enterprises since February 2018. Since 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 4 years. 4 years. And the only thing he can speak out of his mind is state capture. Those two words, he loves them to bits. But he was part of that state capture all those years. Just like he is now, the president of this country. He was part of the state capture. These people tend to act as if they just came in. You know, they found they found a broken car. They were part of that car being broken. If there was ever state capture in this country, these people, Ramaphosa and the rest of them, they were part of that. So people must stop trying to think as Ramaphosa is out there to help us. No, he's not out there. He's there to help himself. He's doing these things for himself. And you will see Ramaphosa, he's afraid of this man. You ask yourself why? Why? What is this guy having a hold on this guy for? He has something, he's holding on to Ramaphosa. He's holding one of the balls, or one of the nuts of this guy. I'm telling you. There's something wrong. There's something definitely wrong. Because at the end of the day, you cannot be having one person where there's a problem after problem in his own portfolio and nothing is said. But then people, and the rest of people who didn't even do a lot, which was actually a smear campaign, a lie by the media of this country, that they had to be taken out, and then they were taken out because of small things. People like Claudio Motweni. Claudio Motweni didn't do anything wrong. What he did was 90% of our music must be played on all our public platforms, which is good, which you can applaud him for in his absence. That is a good thing to do. You know, that's a good thing to do. But then he was taken out. He said, you know what, our SABC should not be showing the bad side of the country. And it was twisted. But no, he said we must censor news. He didn't say censor news. He said SABC, CNN can never show the worst of America. It only shows the best. Country in a very good light. It's like you're being used to campaign against the government of the day. That was his only mistake, and he was taken out. Now he's been made to pay 11 million rents with interest from 2018. Imagine. That's what they're trying to do to the public protector now. Slapping him with all this cost order so that he must be broke as nothing. And it's a lesson. But a man like this one is sitting there in the cabinet, rested, and asking kids, what will you do? Let that rain. Castro. That's him. Ne? All right. His alias. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's actually short, this Wikipedia page of his, this guy. It's very short. I just want to give you this just little, highlights here and there about this man. He was previously the commissioner of SARS. That's when he started. Actually, he was that's when he started this thing. When he did the rogue unit, which they said was a lie, by the way. Rogue unit, its job was to spy on you. They hack your phone, they hack your text records, they check whatever you do, your emails, and he himself said it was a lie. Until it was proven that it was not actually a lie, it was there. And then nothing was done to him. Still, he's still sitting in parliament, he's still earning a lot of salary, and he has a lot of companies that actually he is a director on. If you can go into internet now and check that video when he was heckled, Bidvest is the security people there. He has shares in it with Ramaphosa. Talk about conflict of interest of a minister who has shares in a lot of private companies which are doing business with the state. Yako Airport, West Africa, you will see Bidvest everywhere. Pravin Gordan's signature is in there. That's him. Him is the president of this country. That is why he's untouchable. That is why he's sitting there nicely and enjoying himself, because he knows no one's going to do anything to him anyway. Nobody will say anything to him, no one will do nothing to him. That's why he has the audacity to ask, what will you do? Imagine. If Batabile will ask that, he should be heckled by the media of this country. That who do you think you are? Who do you think you'd come and ask for him, and what will he do to you? You are so arrogant. They'll literally be calling him. They'll be marching on the streets to have him get fired. But this one, we are quiet, South Africans. We are quiet, and we don't even know, but they don't even see what is that. Dinel, they are cutting salaries of Dinel each and every month. People don't get paid. But they were a minister. That's supposed to be there. A whole minister, that's supposed to be there. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, you know what? Today, I'm so energized, man. One of those days, I want to make it like I'm even standing up. Those who are watching me live on Facebook now, like Oscar Chauke, can see what I'm standing up. Tulufelo Makokwe and Gideon McKay. I'm standing up and I'm talking like this because I'm so energized. It's been too long since I podcasted. So I'm back. So the guy was born in Durban and he matriculated in 1967 at St. Sastry College. And he's a pharmacist, by the way. He's a pharmacist by profession. He's not an economist. He's not anything. He's a pharmacist. Oh, yeah. So he was arguing with kids that are doing doctorate in everything, that actually are more educated than him. I remember some guy called Ari, Pravin Gordan is arguing with people that are more qualified than him, and Ratombele, co-PIFM said, no, but you can't say that. Like, it's true. Those kids have got degrees on top of degrees. They've got masters and honors. They're doing doctorate. This guy's done a pharmacist degree, apparently. That's what he said he did. He was a commissioner of SARS, as I said, and as a member of parliament from 1994 to 98, where he chaired the parliamentary committee that focused on implementation of the new constitution and the transformation of local government in post-apartheid. In 2009, President Jacob Zuma appointed him as a finance minister, succeeding Trevor Manuel. On 2014, he was replaced by Nhlanhla Nene as finance minister. And then in 2014, Gordan was appointed Minister of Corporate Affairs and International Affairs, succeeding Lesecha Tsenodi, who became Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly. Now let's come to his controversies and court cases. South African journalist Peter Du Toit has written that Gordan has become a target of a smear campaign by people involved in state capture-related corruption activities due to Gordan's effort to fight corruption, which is a lie. The Rogue Unit was not a smear campaign, it was the truth. He admitted that it was there. He admitted that Rogue Unit is there. So I don't know why people are saying, I think people try to tend to protect each other. When we're in the same clique, like he has been saying to these kids that they are from the same clique, he has a clique as well. And this clique was protecting him head or toe. They were protecting him like nobody's business, and then now and they will sell this thing to us, sorry, no, he's trying to protect us, he's trying to help us, and he's not. The NEL people are not getting paid. Every single people go to work but not get paid at the end of the month. The bond, and he's got shares, he's got money. Osha, I met this guy once when I was still looking for Lancet. He came to draw blood in what's this thing? I forgot one. Pretoria East, next to Lane, like they were left there where the head office of SARS is, just forgot. He came there and I draw blood on him, and I've got a picture. I'll post it one day and you guys will see how I have a picture with him. I thought he was a good guy then. That's when he was fighting Tom Moyane. But Tom Moyane, actually, when I went into this thing, I saw, but Tom Moyane was right about this guy. This guy, his friend, look at this corruption of Pravin Gordan. His friend, I'm going to read it now here about corruption. Okay. There's one that actually shows, in 2016, October, South Africa's state prosecutor leveled fraud charges against Pravin Gordan for allowing a former colleague at SARS, Mr. Pillay, to take early retirement and rehire him as a consultant. Charges were dropped a few days later. A guy comes to Pravin and says, listen, I'm retiring. After getting his pension, blah, 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 the guy applies again as a consultant in the same company, SARS, and he gets hired by Pravin. And it's not seen as fraud, it's not seen as suspicious, it's not seen as anything. It's okay to be done like that in South Africa. And those charges were dropped a few days later, right? But if it was someone from the Zuma camp, or somebody Zuma, ara a minister, or you ara a director, it's a big headline. Help these guys from the Gupta family. It's a huge headline. And I'm not speaking this because I love Zuma. I speak this because I got really something called fairness. If somebody comes to me and say, listen, and then he comes back and say, no, but hire me as a consultant, what are you saying? So this person wants to draw pension twice. He had his pension wage jail, and then now he has to now start from scratch again and get rehired and draw pension twice. And they always hide behind this thing of, but it's not against the law. But ethically, it is unethical. You can't do that. There's thousands of kids who have done tax and whatever tax-related subject at school who are not hired by anybody, because people like Pillay comes and goes because their friend is part of the ministry. That is Pravin Gordan for you. This guy is an enigma. He's a tick. He's a tick. Not only what they do to me, they can come and close my clinic, they can come and do whatever. It's the truth. South Africa is still a democracy. We hope that we can still be able to speak out and speak out freely and talk and say, this is what's going to happen and this is how it is. I hope we're still in democracy, unless you're in a dictatorship now where we cannot say anything and we get censored. He's a tick, he's an enigma. He's a curse to this country. We are on stage 6 now of load shedding, and every time they open their mouth, we got state capture, which they were part of. It's not something new. It's not something like they don't know that this thing was happening. They knew if it was happening, they were part of it. And I don't want to blame anybody or no, it's because of this guy. But no, they were part of that state capture. Ramaphosa was a deputy president for 9 years. He has so-called 9 wasted years. He was deputy president. He was part of that. He knew everything that was being done. He was part of the cabinet meetings. He was part of the ANC. He was part of every high-level meeting, part of the top 6 of the ANC. He was in the war room of ESCOM. He was the one that actually was deciding where ESCOM is going. But then now, they act as if they just came in. They just stepped in. So let's not blame them. They found a broken car. They wrote this stupid new CEO of ESCOM comes and say, you gave me a broken car. Then then let somebody else come and fix it. If they gave you a broken car, director, then go, leave the broken car alone, let other people come and fix it and drive with it. Simple. You don't need to sit there and carry a little baby just because you destroyed Nampeg, where you come from. You collapsed it, and this guy still hires you. Knowing it. Kante, what happened to your references on a CV? Aren't we calling those people anymore? I want to know. Aren't we calling those, like, if someone comes with a CV in my clinic and said, like, I need a job, I'm going to call the thing. I'm going to call the people that is as a reference and ask them, guys, this guy, how is he and whatnot? And they'll let me know. Because I don't even think about having that person. He's not good. You know, and then okay, sharp, then I decided, am I taking him or not? But this one, the CEO of ESCOM now, he collapsed Nampeg. Nampeg died under his CEOship, that's why he left, and then he was given a cozy job in ESCOM. And now he's kind of a baby. Even now and then he's, oh, no, you gave me a broken car, you gave me this, you cannot, resign. Simple. Resign and go away, let Brian Molefe come back. Brian Molefe had this car going, and then Machala Koko, they were having this car going. Where now you come for a mental roller. Well, you are CEO, COO. Over halls of working man is man. White people. Yeah, but anyway, so that was that touch and go of his biography. I'm not going to change because there's nothing interesting here anyway. And I'm not saying this because I don't like the guy. I don't like what he's done, what he's doing, and what he's done to his country. And he's not actually a guy that actually we will stand up and say we want to bibliography him in a way, because he's not worth it at the end of the day. You know, I came across this article today, IOL, independent online journalist news, that's Iqbal Savi. And he said this one and Ramaphosa are trying to use the banks to silence independent media, the Star, Pretoria News, you know. And I actually tend to believe, because they are not trying to close the bank accounts of Sekunjana. And the last time I checked, on this piece here, it says he applied to the High Court in 2016 in North Gauteng. High Court the Dustin Mulambo, he's not even a judge president, he's just a hired gun. Leno Walanda CR 17, Justin Mulambo, the one who's here in Pretoria, the just president in Pretoria High Court, the one who said they knew Hore, this one was wrong, but they just gave it to her anyway. They knew Hore, they were not supposed to say Zuma can't elect the chairperson of the commission. By law, they are not allowed, but because it was they just gave it to her anyway to do it. So it doesn't really matter. They did it anyway because it's Tulodonzela. So they broke the law deliberately just because they didn't want Zuma anymore. So that's what you call the just president here in Gauteng, North Gauteng, which is Pretoria in town. And that to rule that he may not interfere with the major bank's decision to close Oak Bay investment accounts. Remember that big story that came out that Oak Bay's accounts were closed when they destroyed thousands of black people's lives? Who was working for AN7, who was working for any Oak Bay company. People lost their jobs, people lost their people lost everything. Just because some few people didn't want few people making money because they used to make money like them. What people didn't want to see, the Indians being the ones now having money and having a president like they're having Ramaphosa today, so they tend to destroy everything that those people are owning. They closed the bank account of Oak Bay, they closed a whole nice TV station, news one, that actually was giving us an objective. You know, I used to watch that channel from morning to morning when I was at home. Because the discussions that were put there were beautiful. Not this non-celebration in Noyan. Not this 4 or 5, which we thought when it came, we thought like when it came, it will come something better. It's just useless. ENC and Nebula West, useless as well. SABC is gone to the dog since Clavington left. You know, we don't even have an objective TV station, TV news station anymore. We had it with NN7 and they closed it down. They destroyed it because they wanted to destroy the Guptas and Jacob Zuma. So I want to come to this one, man, of what he has done, this guy, Pravin Gordan. What he has done recently, that actually made Mr. Themba Goli to stand up and say, no, this is nonsense. First and foremost, Pravin Gordan went to actually solidarity is a white Afrikaner union. I don't know, but what are they unionizing for? And they approached him apparently and they said to him, listen, we want to give you the skills for ESCOM. We want you to hire white people that will recruit for you for ESCOM. And he agreed. And Themba Goli was mad, which I will be mad as well. Former chairperson of the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Public Funds, Scopa, Themba Goli, has accused Public Minister Pravin Gordan of being a racist. This comes after Gordan's department reached out to Workers' Trade Union Solidarity to provide power station engineers. Why can't they hire Brian Molefe again? Now we have to have white people coming in and blacks out. Is that how we run things now? Like, we don't have black engineers that can run. But there's no white people in ESCOM, so that's why ESCOM is falling. That's what they're saying to you. So let's hire white people to come into ESCOM and give up to we need a white president. Maybe this country will be fine. They are the slaves from Egypt. Remember when they left with Moses? Even though they were under brutal subjugation for 400 years, they still said they remember the garlics that they ate in Egypt. Even when they saw the Red Sea parting, they still said, "Wow, we should be staying there eating nice." Black people with no balls, clever blacks, people who cannot stand and say this is not going to happen. People who think for the white person is right all the time. People who did house Negro, what Mr. Minister Sisulu spoke about. In May, So Deputy Chief Executive Derek Herman wrote to Gordan, stating that the union could provide hundreds of professionals who could help ESCOM with critical skills to manage recurring blackouts, the power station, and other power station maintenance issues. In a letter widely circulated on social media, Gordan wrote back to Herman accepting Solidarity's offer. This is the government Ramaphosa is giving us now. White people are back, black people are out. We had two people that I know of that actually was steering ESCOM in a very beautiful way. Brian Molefe and Machela Koko. One of the two very brilliant black engineers. A very brilliant engineer, Machela Koko, and a very brilliant CEO, Brian Molefe, who Ramaphosa said he must be hired. And then your media tried to tend and say, no. He actually was actually hired by Zuma because they wanted to further the state capture project. Even when the guy admitted or that at that Stockfell called State Capture Commission, no one questioned how. Did you guys say to us or no, this guy was hired by Zuma? Anyway, that will be the topic for another day when we deal with Ramaphosa himself. No. Government appreciates the support, that's him. Quote, government appreciates the support from Solidarity with the redeployment of skilled and experienced engineering and technical skills addressing challenges faces ESCOM. Due to the urgency of assistance required from ESCOM, can you kindly provide a list of names of engineers and technical experts that will be deployed to ESCOM to address the generation performance challenges from the company, end quote, wrote Pravin Gordan. This angered the African People's Convention APC, which is led by Themba Godi. He said, and I quote, the APC has noted with disgust Minister Gordan's call for Solidarity Trade Union to help with skilled personnel at ESCOM. Ordinarily, as APC wouldn't take an issue with a call or headhunt of any skilled South Africans to assist a state entity. We, however, reject this selective call to a conservative all-white trade union to assist with skilled personnel. So black people are not skilled. They talk about to come and show you how to do things. George Malidimo, we're not able. You're not skilled, but you need a white person to come and show you. How is this done? That's how this person takes us. That's how he takes us, Pravin Gordan and his President Ramaphosa. And I just want to hard government at him because government is not him, it's not his ministry. His ministry is public enterprises. He must just say, I take pride and say thank you so much for that. You know what? And it goes on to say, the APC, this perpetuates a debunked assertion Mr. Gordan made when he became a minister that affirmative action led to a loss of capabilities at ESCOM, meaning when they hired black people to work with white people left and ESCOM failed because black people cannot work they want to work under supervision. They can't work alone. Let me read again. Mr. Gordan, this perpetuated a debunked assertion Mr. Gordan made when he became minister that affirmative action led to a loss of capabilities at ESCOM, thus showing a lack of confidence in African workers. We are progressive unions. We are progressive unions. Why are progressive unions? Such as National Union of Mine Workers of South Africa and the National Workers Union not engaged? The problem at ESCOM lies in the weak leadership of Mr. Andre de Ruyter and his management, and also a weak board that has no confidence in running a complex entity like ESCOM. The experienced engineers and technical skills were hollowed. This is Mr. Gordan. The experienced engineers and technical skills were hollowed out as a result of state capture. He loves that word, yo. And corruption over the years. In response, various professional and business organizations have offered to assist in this regard. However, former engineer of ESCOM, Dr. Bongani Mvelas rejected Gordan and Herman's claims, saying the assertion that the power utility became obsessed with retrenching white competent engineers and placed them with incompetent black engineers for affirmative action was disgusting. A whole Indian minister in our country is telling you, or as a black person, you're incompetent. So they took out the white person and they put you in an ESCOM's given stage 6. When we had Brian Molefe at the helm and Machala Gogo, there was no load shedding. For 7 years, President Zuma came out and told us there will never be any load shedding anymore, and there was no load shedding anymore. And now we are back to stage 6. When Zuma left, immediately load shedding came in, remember? Like, and they're trying to have this thing of, no, they were burning diesel for 7 years. Really? They didn't do maintenance for 7 years of a power station that is burning coal like nobody's business. And you think they were not going to be broken? Why are they breaking now when the 2 people that were on the helm, not the whole staff, left? Let's come on. Stop lying to us. We are too old for that. Stop lying to us. Telling us, oh no, it's because of this and that. They're lying. You know, this guy needs a whole episode. We are going to talk about him. He needs a whole episode, and I've got an hour per episode. He needs a whole episode to talk about. And I'm inviting you at home that whoever has anything, please come to my studio. Let's record a podcast together. Debunk me. Debunk me. Come with your own things. Talk to me. Tell me how you are lying, cause, and show me facts that I'm lying. Or this is the best news you ever had. I invite you. Please come. Let's do this. Let's sit down and discuss these things, Bill. I'm sick and tired of people sitting there, standing up and just, you know what, defending the indefensible. When the country is sinking, people have got billions in offshore accounts. Probably doesn't need a salary. You do. But you can't, because your company gets closed down because of load shedding that he's giving us every day. Today, load shedding came, stage 2 from 2 o'clock. Now they say it's going to be suspended over the weekend. It's now stage 1 because many units came in. Do you remember all those excuses they gave us? Ooh, the thing that carries I'm open to the former this guy apparently, and he's just a mafia. It's like Zungo or Wisibai. He was saying that black thing that transport the coal got broken. Apple got conveyor belt. A whole chairperson of ESCOM board, hired by now Pravin Gordan and that is still Ramaphosa. He's late now. May God rest his soul. Remember, wet coal. A whole company like ESCOM that's got experience cannot have a shelter for coal. Wet coal. Remember, conveyor belt. You know about sabotage. Our instrument was stolen. That's why. I mean, there was Habari, the elephant here called Pravin Gordan in the room. Let's remove this guy, put somebody else, and let the thing go and work. No. They were trying to find, protecting this guy. Like I said, whatever he has on the post is big. Whatever he has on this guy is very huge. It's big. Because no one can touch him. And no one can say anything to him. He's an untouchable minister that we have in this country. In an open letter which went viral, Velas denied that ESCOM ever retrenched competent white engineers, saying Gordan and Herman gave white artisans and technicians the title of engineers to justify black engineers as incompetent. Imagine. And he said here, and I quote, "I worked for ESCOM for many years and I never came across the register of such competent people, and neither did I witness the legacy of novelty they left behind." By the way, former white ESCOM engineers never left ESCOM. They were all transferred from normal salaried employees to contractors which continue to milk ESCOM. Excuse me about that, sorry. Like what people used to do in companies. When they knew that they were skilled and they they were scarce skill in a company. They will resign and then they will form small companies and then they will come back and say, we are now consultants, and they invoice the company. So that's what these white people now, they can be hired as contractors. And now they're the so-called consultants now. How can a company survive with consultants? Those who remained in ESCOM, remained ESCOM salaried employees, were given special titles such as corporate specialists or the so-called grey heads. These specialists or grey heads have two mandates: to marginalize qualified black engineers and to milk ESCOM by providing no suitable solutions so that they remain relevant to the organization. Ke bone the saboteurs, ke bone who are sabotaging ESCOM, so that ESCOM can remain like this, and they say, no, but Lona, engineers of ESCOM, black ones, you can't do the job. Here, black and white, quoted in on a newspaper. And we have this guy, Pravin Gordan, hiring a white only. I get it? White only. In 2022, we now still have a white only organization in South Africa. However, this guy, he needs a full episode, otherwise. Just him alone, full episode. Just to debunk everything about this guy. A full episode, Pravin Gordan, alone, and I'm gonna do that. I'm sorry about the other ones who are going to want to know about the other things. The other things I'll speak to you about them tomorrow. I just want to do this one. I'm done with Pravin Gordan. Now let's check. How this solidarity or solidarity? What are we talking about? Yari, his introduction on his website, it says, solidarity is your partner, your older brother in the workplace. As it were, the one who has been protecting his members' rights against exploitation in the workplace since 1902. The one who even creates job security for you as a professional individual. Nice, ne? Like nice introduction, at least, you know. But then they say we believe in one, Christian foundation. No harm in that. It's fine, I'm a Christian myself. But their Christianity is what is only amongst white people. Remember apartheid? Apartheid days, no black will go into a white church. They came to pray to God, but not to pray to God with their only Lubana fella, with their only with people, white people only. They didn't still see you as a human being to sit there and say, okay, I'm gonna do this with you, pray to God. Alright? Number two, collective bargaining. Is what what was this thing? It's what every year COSATU and them, they do with government again to negotiate on behalf of workers to say we want a raise, blah blah. Connect South Africa in the constitution, independent from political party politics, like protection of minorities and democracy. Minorities, they mean white, Indian and coloreds, no blacks. By more. Minorities means white, Indians and coloreds. So they are protecting minorities and the so-called democracy. Fair implementation of affirmative action. There is no fair implementation of affirmative action. Affirmative action itself is fair. Affirmative action means, guys, what's it in terminal? We have four, let's say we have three, let's say four runners, ne? Starting a marathon or a 100-meter sprint. When the gun goes, 3 is held back, 1 is left to run alone. When that first one, after a lap, the other one is being let to go. That was already have like an advantage, the first one. Then the third one, and then this last one, he's been held until the other 3 have done 3-4 laps and then let go, and still being told, Hori, you are not good enough. Now, affirmative action works like this. When those other ones have gone, this one is coming, Gomorrah. We hold the other 3 and say, stop, let this one come and catch up with you guys, then you can all run together. Simple definition of affirmative action. It's not about taking someone out of the post and putting him there, then replacing with an incumbent. No. It's about let's all meet and all go together. No one must be able to horafeto moka anything. So I just talk about a fair affirmative action babuaka. Because there's nothing fair about what you've done to us for years. But when we say, okay, we don't take anything from you, we're just saying, wait, let's all run together. Let me catch up with you and let me run with you. They call it unfair. Number 7, they believe in Afrikaans. Yeah. They boss lady would see, look, they believe in Afrikaans. They're just telling you the truth, and you're gonna be sitting there and just be quiet. If someone says I believe in Afrikaans, it simply means you are not welcome, you're not an Afrikaner, or you don't talk Afrikaans. Yeah. That's the no. Number 8 says free market economy, responsible job in relationships, and the last one is self-employment and sustainable development. That is the whites only union that Pravin Gordan said they can work with government. Because we've got black people who are incompetent in ESCOM, so they must go. When they said Indians are racist, we stood and said, no, that's not true. But Pravin Gordan is one of their kind. He's one of those subtle racists that doesn't show his colors, but that actually stand there and smile at you, whereas he knows that he hates your guts. That is this guy, Pravin Gordan. Your minister that is inside the parliament forever and does nothing and no one says anything about it. Not your news people, not your media, not anyone. Musimaimani, anyone. Malema will scream 2 minutes and then keep quiet. You know, no one says anything to this person. He's just there as a demigod and he's destroying his country. He sold our national airline for 51 rands. 51. When they justified the sale, they said, no, is this thing what you call where somebody can say, we'll take over the thing, but you're gonna have to pay for it so that you can be able to we don't buy the debt. Same thing Jimmy Mani did with NN7. The group does give him money to buy the company. Because he couldn't afford to buy the company himself. So that the company mustn't fall, let us give him the money to buy this thing and then it can continue and he will pay the debt later. And they call it corrupt. The same thing's happening now, Pravin Gordan SAA. A white company with few blacks, more enormous. They always color us, bagay different, barabay different, and then, yeah. Pravin Gordan of it. There you are. Research for yourself. Go to the internet and check this guy. And tell me, do you still really respect a person who asks a doctorate student who is asking questions to him, but what would you do? Omangwena, who the hell do you think you are? What will you do to me? I mean, now I'm Super Minister Pravin Gordan. No one touches me, your president that knows or not. Gordan. That's why I said this guy needs a full episode, and I did that. I'm sorry, I want to apologize because I had few headlines to read today, but I'll do them tomorrow, I promise. Please tune tomorrow 8 o'clock. Be here with me. We're going to talk about how Pfizer vaccine lowers your sperm count. So, meaning if you had 10 in one row. If you had 10 sperms inside, like inside there, after you do a vaccine, Pfizer, you are left with 3. I'm sorry guys, that's what it is. You can go to internet now and search the FASA papers and search, and you will see the answers there. But I'll go into detail tomorrow, and then I will let you know how much they say, how many percentages they will decrease, and all those things, and you will know. But let me just give you a hint. They said repetitive measurements revealed 15.4% sperm concentration decrease on T2. That is negative 25.5% to 3.9%. That is 0.01. Leading to a total motile count of 22% reduction. Yeah. But anyway, tomorrow, tune in tomorrow again. Thank you so much guys for being with me tonight. Those who are watching on Facebook, thank you so much. And then please, I'm gonna post this thing on my Facebook page. I'm gonna post the link there, and you can go and find us on Spotify app, and please follow us and click the notification bell so that you can be able to get each and every episode that we are going to upload. Ne? YouTube page, just search Word on the Street. You'll find more other videos we have already done, and click and subscribe there as well, please. And then on the Twitter streets is @Sekgongwana. That's my personal Twitter account. I'll be having these links of today's episode. And we have @KG Holdings, that's my company's one, and Word Sekgongwana, which is for the Word on the Street Twitter page. This link will be posted there tonight. And on my Facebook page, I will put the link as well. Please comment, watch the video, comment, criticize me, do everything you can. Let's just have a conversation and dialogue. Let's talk about this thing. This is our country, guys. They didn't fight for it alone. We all suffered, one way or the other. Whether we in Putaswara, whether you were wherever, we all suffered this thing. So it's not Pravin Gordan's thing alone and the others. All of us, we went through this thing. So please click and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then Facebook as well. And then let's have these conversations. Let's talk. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night. See you tomorrow. Cheers. Bye-bye.